We recently went on a pre-Christmas walk at Ruthven Park, which is a historic site and homestead of the Thompson family. So back in the 1840s, they built this mansion. They ran mills along the Grand River, which is one of the longest rivers in Canada. So this is located just north of Cayuga, Ontario, kind of close to Caledonia and Hamilton. So about a 25-minute drive from us. But there you can see the weather, although it appeared to be okay at the beginning, it was very windy and unfortunately pretty cold, but no snow. Here's the Welcome Center. Everything unfortunately is closed during the pandemic, so we hope to go back when it's open again. The actual homestead or estate is a museum as well. So here you go with the map of the area. It's about 1,500 acres apparently, and some of it is farmed. But the portion along the river has some really nice trails. So it's part of the Carolinian forest of southern Ontario. When you come off the large parking lot, there's a kind of a pathway to get to the backside of the estate. Some of these buildings and carriage house were built in the 1860s. There were add-ons, and there was farmland and piggery. So there you see some of the statues and our dog checking them out. But yeah, there's lots of these little gravel pathways throughout the estate, and apparently it's run by volunteers. But there you can see, I think this building was 1867. And throughout the property you see these stone and cement statues, so it's kind of neat to see. I don't know much about the history of this building, but I know there was barracks built on site because they were involved in the military, the Thompson family. So I know there was some probably military involvement, and there was barracks here as well. So there you can kind of see the southern side, I believe, of the mansion, which is a Greek revival English country estate is what it's based on basically. So here you can see the front side of the mansion faces the river. So when you drive up to the property on the road that's currently existing, you see the back side, but you kind of have to walk around to this side to see the front. So you see these Roman columns and a pretty impressive structure. So like I said, this is closed during the pandemic, but it is a museum and it's open during normal times. And I think it has 36 rooms and two large Italian marble fireplaces. So, and the resident cat statue didn't have any problems with us taking pictures on the stairs, so we took a few family pictures. So just myself and my kids and the dog came this time. But we plan to go back when it's better weather. Like I said, it was very windy and kind of cold that day. Not one of the better days lately, but because we've had a lot of snow and then melt. So it's kind of not the best of times because it's fairly muddy along the trails, but still a nice place to check out. You know, parking's free. It's there's hardly anyone around, so it's ideal for going for a nice short walk. And they have several trails. This is the Riverside Trail, so it can be quite long. It has a lot of kind of offshoots, but this time of year you can kind of see through everything. I'm sure it's really nice in the warmer months, so we plan to go back. Now the trails are just dirt trails and they don't have any like gravel or screening, which is fine. But this time of year, you know, with the snow melt and some of the rain, it can get pretty muddy. So I encourage you to wear boots or proper footwear because it can be kind of tricky. So needless to say, Nellie, our dog, we had to give her a bit of a wipe down or a bath when we got home, but it was still a fun walk. So yeah, these trails eventually lead down to the river and have some nice lookouts of the Grand River. The Thompson family, like I said earlier, was involved in milling. Um, that was probably their main business along the Grand River, and that's how they probably made their fortune. So there's a few, this one boardwalk that goes down. There was an activity this week where it's a scavenger hunt. So for smaller children, they can grab a clipboard. Everything was laid out by the Welcome Center. Unfortunately, there's no staff because of the pandemic, but every day they do lay out a scavenger hunt activity, and you bring a little clipboard along, and it asks you to find certain objects or scenes, and then you check it off as you go. So we didn't actually participate in that, but it is good for smaller children, and it's a nice walk. But again, wear some boots. There's also, you know, frozen puddles that you don't want to step on. You'll probably fall through them. So But here's a view of the Grand River. So this is not hard to get to from the Hamilton area. It's just north of Cayuga and south or southwest of Caledonia, Ontario, along Highway 54, which runs along the Grand River for the most part. So I'll post the address in the description so you can put it into your device to find it easier. It does have a little gatehouse at the main entrance roadway, which goes along a ravine, but you can miss it if you're driving along Highway 54. So I'll post the address to make it a little bit easier. So here's one of the trails that runs right along the river. So yeah, this time of year everything's kind of gone dormant and brown, but it was still a nice walk. We had once in a while we had sun, and there's little offshoots of the trail. This is one we couldn't get past some standing water and some ice. Although my son wanted to walk across it, but yeah, bad things probably would have happened if he went through that. It's only a foot deep, but just muck. But they do have quite a few trails through the Carolinian forest and a meadow, and there you can see little muddy paws. But yeah, it was quite windy that day. We plan to go back during nicer weather, or even when there's a fresh snowfall. It'd probably be really nice. And they do maintain some of the older trees that are dead for safety. They cut them down and they just let everything go back to nature. So these are kind of some neat pieces of tree that were laying on the side. And apparently this area is known for bird watching as well. So you see some, I wouldn't say rare species, but uncommon species along here as well. So if you're into bird watching, it's a good place to go for a walk. And this is some of the Grand River with little islands. Here's the family cemetery of the Thompson family in Ruthven. So it's open. The gate is open. You can actually go and obviously be respectful, and you can read. Some of the tombstones are legible. Others are pretty worn and eroded. And just be careful because some of the children tombstones are barely sticking out of the ground, so they're only maybe 6 to 8 inches high, and you could trip over them if you're not careful. So, but really cool to see some of the dates and the names and messages on the tombstone. And apparently this is on the Ghost Walk, Haunted Walk series as well. So during non-COVID times they do haunted walks through here as well, so, and through the mansion. So just past the family cemetery is a Meadow Trail. So this is on the higher ground, and on the other side of this is you can go through a ravine through a lower area. So this is kind of just some midwinter shots. But yeah, nothing strenuous, a nice easy walk, quick hike. Parking's free. It was a nice area to go to. There you can see a gazebo and some nice stone walls and statues. So thanks for watching. If you get a chance and you're in the area, check it out. Stay tuned for more videos. Please subscribe, and bye for now.